I don't want to give you all a long lecture. You had enough in school, know this. Last whatever years you have been there. Many of us leave school and later remember it with mixed emotion. Isn't it? Or you will experience it. Mixed emotion, some of it good, hopefully not much bad, resulting from some ill treatment you had from your teachers or some such thing, you know. I remember when I was at school, I had a teacher who was supposed to be teaching English. It was a British school, what would be called a public school. And I have never forgotten this, though I would love to forget it. There was something about one word, you know, which could be spelled in two different ways and had two different meanings. I forget what that word was. Does anybody remember what it was? I think I have written about it in my so-called down memory lane, perhaps. He challenged, when he misspelled it, I said, sir, this is the correct spelling. He said, shut up. Next day I made the very tragic mistake of taking a pocket Oxford dictionary and showing it to him. He became my enemy for life. Yeah, how dare you challenge a teacher, you know. He thought he must always be right. I said, of course you must always be right. But you can't be right when you are wrong, isn't it? So such memories, you know, they rankle. It has been part of my life, much to my annoyance, because I would have liked to have left it long back behind. I've been carrying it with me for about 70 years, can you imagine? That is what teachers should realize when they create bad memories. They last longer than good memories. I hope you had a lot of good memories created here in our school. And that education is not all dull learning, but there's a lot of fun to education too, as you will realize later when you put your education to use. It's all right, you know, when we are taught that 2 plus 2 is 5. Is it? 2 plus 2? Well, why don't you say so? So when we are taught these things, we wonder why we are being taught all these things. What on earth does it matter when the Norman conquest was? What Julius Caesar said when he fell, when he landed from the boat? What does it matter? But the wider the, you know, it's like we're having land. If you own a property 12 by 4, it's very small. If it's 12 by 40, it's big. If it's 1200 by 400, wow, no? Now we can ask you, what do you do with a house with 6 bedrooms? They are useful only to boast, no? To show off. My dad has, you know, we have 6-bedroom house. Oh, really? And if someone had sense, he would say, where do you sleep? In all of them? At the same time, no, not at all. Similarly, education, you know, the more you know, sometimes, somewhere you will find that it comes you useful. So we are taught geography, history, mathematics, I don't know what else. Things we think we will never use. And then all of a sudden, one day your husband or your wife decides to go to, say, let us say, Paris. It's all right if, like my master Babuji Maharaj, when asked about Paris, he said, France is in Paris. Everybody laughed. How sweet of Babuji, no? France is in Paris. But if you say it, they would say, where did she learn her geography or her facts? No? Or when you go to the shop and you need to total up what you have bought, even machines make mistakes, you know. I don't know if Jackie is here, but that blighter always manages to be everywhere. I was shopping once in France, and they had these machines, you know, totaling machine. But he totaled and made a mistake, and it was a big mistake. It was almost 20% of the bill. So, you know, in Europe it's not polite to point out mistakes. Especially I was standing on the wrong side of the table, and I'm not expected to be able to total it from the wrong side, you know. They are writing here, and I'm standing there. So I whispered into Jackie's ears, the total is wrong. He said, with the look of incredulity, he said, but Chariji, it cannot be. It cannot be. No. Yeah, I said, but it is. And fortunately, without fighting me for it, you know, let us fight for it. The shopkeeper corrected it and, apologized profusely. So, I had this ability to total from the wrong side. It was fun when I used to do it for practice wherever I went. So, these abilities when we cultivate, and even once if you are able to use it, you feel as if your battery is recharged. I hope these teachers here have done something to, give you automatic recharge of your batteries, which is what memory is supposed to do. Every time you feel a little weepy, there must be a memory which says, come, come. It's not as bad as all that. And you console yourself, pretend there are no tears in your eyes, and march off singing, you see. So it's essential to have good memories so that our batteries are kept recharged. Always we think well of the past, of those who were with us in the past, of those who helped us in the past. Even like my English teacher who did not know the difference between anonymous and unanimous. See, those were the two words which he couldn't differentiate and which caused him to become an enemy because I pointed it out to him. So, that I still carry this memory shows it was not good to have told it to him. But on the other hand, that I pointed it out to him showed that it was necessary to correct a teacher who was wrong, Because when we students are not expected to be wrong, how can we permit the teacher to be right when he is wrong? Isn't it? Then you have to say, sir, you are right every time you are wrong. That would be fun, isn't it? So remember, school life is a mixture of all these things, of friendships, of jealousies. I'm sure you've all been jealous sometime or the other of someone or the other, perhaps of all. No? Not at all. There used to be what is called a patch in my school, you know. Of course, it was a fraud, but we believed it. You know this Johnson tape? They come in squares and circles depending on where you want to apply them. So I had an Englishman who taught geography. He taught geography by throwing the duster at us. Where is Cambodia? And you can't say there, no? He used to play tricks with us, and he said, everybody come up here. And we lined up, and he put one pink patch on our forearm here, Johnson. He said, anybody who tells a lie, this will turn yellow. And we spent 3 days carefully keeping it on while we had our bath, and looking at it every time. So, I had all sorts of teachers in school, a very conglomerate mix, Britishers, Anglo-Indians, and Indians, So, what I'm trying to impress upon all of you is carry home good memories. I'm sure some of you at least will want to write to me by mail. Put under your name, put omega 2. Omega/2. Okay? Now let us go to better things and have something to eat before we disperse. Thank you. One thing I forgot to tell you, you will surely miss the love and the protection which I hope LMIS offered you. Because you're going out into the world, different parts, different places, different situations. So that will, show you what a school does for you and give you moments of nostalgia when you felt so protected, so, embraced. The Indian pronounces embarrassed as embraced. I don't mean it in that sense. I mean really embraced, tight like a mother, So that's what I want you all to remember the school as a mother. Thank you.
Everybody, I would just like to recite a poem. I would start. Birds of Omega fly into the sky. They shoot in all directions after days of nurture and lessons. Some fly low, some fly high, but they all look for the same destination in the midst of the mountains for a path which is the fastest towards the light, thrown by the sun towards evolution. And they must fight the storm and the rains while on the way. But when one is lost in the way and is worried to find the path again, there is always the being called the Master who guides it back into the path. But before the whole journey ends, there is the divine duty that each bird must perform, which the Master through the heart will command, and while in the journey the birds will know the duty which they shall perform. Birds of Omega fly into the sky. and they await the revealing of their destinies. When they will know the fruits of their lessons, they will share it with the world.
Hmm?
What should I do in my life, Master?
Live it.
As a profession, Master.
Live life and professions and everything, they are parts of it. No? क्या बात है?
Master, will you become IAS, Master?
The trouble with all of you is, you think living is different from doing something. You know? But I find that living includes doing something. And if I am able to do what I want, what my heart tells me to do, my life is good, pleasant, happy, comfortable, you know. If I am forced to do something which my heart says no, my heart, mind you, my head may say, why not, it's profitable. But we are not talking of profit here. We are talking of happiness. They are not the same. Because if you look around the world today, the most miserable people are the rich people. They have too much. Too many houses, too many cars, you know. Too many suits of clothes, too many servants, too many companies, too many incomes. And all they are concerned with is where to invest my next 25 crores or 250 crores. Our life should not be like that. Our life should be happiness with minimum possessions. You will find that when you have minimum, you don't worry about anything. You are not worried about thieves and robbers. You are not worried about the stock market. I mean, there is nothing to worry about. So choose the happy life and not the life of profit. Okay? Yes, now you go.
Good evening, everyone.
Stand up, stand up.
आपकी नजरों ने समझा प्यार के काबिल मुझे, दिल की ये धड़कन ठहर जा, मिल गई मंजिल मुझे, आपकी नजरों ने समझा। जी हमें मंजूर है आपका ये फैसला, जी हमें मंजूर है आपका ये फैसला। कह रही हर नजर बंदा परवर शुक्रिया, हंस के अपनी जिंदगी में कर लिया शामिल मुझे, दिल की ये धड़कन ठहर जा, मिल गई मंजिल मुझे, आपकी नजरों ने समझा। आपकी मंजिल हूँ मैं, मेरी मंजिल आप है, आपकी मंजिल हूँ मैं, मेरी मंजिल आप है। क्यों मैं तूफानों से डरूं, मेरा साहिल आप है, कोई तूफानों से कह दे, मिल गया साहिल मुझे, दिल की ये धड़कन ठहर जा, मिल गई मंजिल मुझे, आपकी नजरों ने समझा। थैंक यू।
So on that note, I will say great things for you in your life.
Thank you, Master.
And lots of happiness, good health, and wisdom. Okay?